Hey guys, McKinnis here coming to you from the confines of my own kitchen. Just wanted to touch base with you on the idea of this flipped classroom model and why it is I'm really kicking around the idea of piloting this in the fourth quarter for one of my classes, or maybe two of my classes even at the CTE computer technology side of things. So anyways, how did I come across this? Well, I'd heard about it in the past, but never anything that I'd really truly looked into. Until I came across this iTunes U. And if you haven't been into iTunes U yet, I really suggest that you take a look at it. Anyways, I came across a podcast by Aaron Sams and John Bergman called The Flipped Classroom. And it's in the Classroom 2.0 live video casts. And I watched that. It's about an hour long. I watched that. It really piqued my interest. I started to think, man, I think that this could work in my classrooms. And really, truly, I kind of felt like maybe this could work in just about any classroom around the country, because I really think that maybe the direction that these guys are headed in terms of the flipped classroom is really something that we should all consider. Anyways, Aaron Sams, John Bergman, iTunes U, Flipped Classroom is the video cast that piqued my interest. And so then I started to look into things, and I came up with this whole Prezi. And if you haven't experienced Prezi, or if you haven't used Prezi, or you haven't even seen Prezi, I really suggest that you take a look at it. It's a really cool program, a really cool site on the internet, Prezi, Prezi.com. And it allows you to really build these truly engaging kind of fly-in, fly-out presentations. It's far more complex than the traditional PowerPoint. So anyways, the classroom as an overview. Who came up with this? In my research, I'm thinking, whose idea was this? Well, it turns out that it's Dr. Lodge. Is the guy that is the lead of the research here. He's from North Carolina State University and is the lead researcher with this program and this particular teaching model. And he's doing it all through the Friday Institute. And for those of you that do not know about the Friday Institute, I suggest you take a look at it. I'm going to go ahead and delete out of the full screen mode here so that I can show you the website. Here's the website for the Friday Institute so they call it FIZ, which if you look through this, you'll figure out what FIZ stands for. But really, it's in short, it's the flipped classroom model. All sorts of crazy, cool little things here if you want to take a look at some professional development. Some exchange, some collaboration. They have some resources. You can contact them. It's cool. They have a Facebook, and they're pretty active on their Facebook. So if this is something after watching today that you're thinking about picking up or presenting to your staff or even a colleague, I suggest you first take a look at this website. Anyways, back to the Prezi presentation, and we're going to go back to the full screen. So what's the problem today with how the model of technology? Well, I'm going to say that learning that incorporates real life experience is not occurring enough, and it's undervalued when it does take place. And by the way, this is my handwriting, so I apologize if it's something that you're unable to read or it's not very legible. I did this on my bamboo pad, so just another way of kind of making a presence in the presentation so that's not so virtual oriented. Nonetheless, I feel like real life experiences are not occurring enough, and they're truly undervalued. There's more importance placed on other things, and I think that real life experience is truly where the connectivity and engagement comes from in terms of lessons, and rigors and all the other standards and rigmarole that goes along with education. So anyways, the other thing I think is that there's just too much lecture nowadays in the classroom, and I've always been searching high and low for ways to cut down on the lecture. I've never been one that wants to stand in front of class for 20 minutes, 25 minutes, 50 minutes and present material without students having some sort of interaction and application and exploration. So I think that there's just too much lecture in the classroom nowadays. And then the assumptions about lectures are as teachers, the assumption is that a teacher is standing in front of a group of students that the students believe that they have to be controlled and they have to be quiet. And there's a general thought that lectures can be made engaging and have some value. Without a doubt, they have value, but are they engaging? And if they're not engaging, is there really truly learning going on? Is the question here. Anyways, so that's what lectures. The assumption that lectures were maybe in the past century, but now let's take a look at lectures today. We have the teacher, again, my drawings, the teacher in the front of the class. You have that A student or traditional A student sitting in the front, astute and attentive. On the second row, we have maybe somebody leaned back in their chair, somebody asleep. And then in the far back row, you never know what's going on in that far back row. It looks like somebody is laying down asleep in this particular diagram, but it gets the point across. Students today are really more engaged by social media, video games, movies, and music, more so than me or the teacher. And you have to excuse my daughter screaming every now and again in the background. More so than me, anyways, standing in front of the class and spewing out 50 minutes worth of information. And really, there's more managing going on than teaching, I believe, in the lecture style, lecture model of the classroom. I think there's a lot more. Okay, guys, we need to get ready. Let's get going. I'm ready to start. Get your pens and paper out. Stop talking to your friend, as opposed to true teaching. I think there's more managing going on than teaching or lecturing, for that matter. And it's just really not good for diverse learning styles. The lectures today just really aren't geared for diverse learning styles, which obviously by the diagram you can see we have a number of issues here going on, and probably most likely a number of diverse learning styles here. So what's really the solution? The solution is no more lectures in the classroom. I'm not saying no more lectures. I'm just saying no more lectures in the classroom. Let's find a way to change the approach, shift the paradigm, so to speak. So here's how we're going to do it. We're going to take 40 minutes, which is a typical prep period, and create some short 5, 6, 9, 10, and 13-minute videos. The numbers really play little to no significance. I find that each length varies in attention spans with students. So if you can condense your information into 5 minutes, that's probably good. 6 minutes is not bad. 9's not bad. 10 is getting there, and 13 is probably that cap. You don't want anything to go outside of that 13-minute mark. And this will save 200 minutes lecturing in the classroom per year. So it's a big time saver. And by the way, I got this information from the Friday Institute website that I showed you earlier, and I'll just kick back there. All that information is right here on this website. So if you want to explore it a little bit more in detail, feel free. By all means, go ahead. But that's where I got the information. So education today, as we talked about, is really that lecture-based model where the lecture is in the classroom. It's really inefficient. It doesn't engage, and it's a one-shot deal, meaning if students aren't in attendance, if students are having a bad day, if they're not engaged, they miss it. It's a one-shot opportunity. There's no chance for remediation. There's no chance to go back and review or replay that particular lesson for the day. And then they take the information from the lecture in the classroom and they apply it at home, which is really individualized. And there's not a whole lot of learning that I believe takes place on an individual level. I think that the higher learning models take place when you have a lot of collaboration, a lot of students working together to fulfill a specific task. Of course, there's all sorts of information out there regarding those particular hierarchies, and feel free to take a look at those. I'm not going to talk about them now. But then the application at home is not engaging. It's one student sitting at home trying to apply what they have learned in the classroom on that day. or in the lecture. So the flipped education is a paradigm shift in teaching and learning. And really, truly, here's the nuts and bolts of it. Outside, students are watching teacher-created lecture videos, which is what I'm doing right now. This essentially would be what a student would be watching at home. They're efficient. They can be viewed multiple times, which is key, and it creates a great deal of classroom time. And then inside the classroom, the teacher becomes more of a facilitator. There's a lot of collaboration that goes on between students and teacher and students, students and student. So there's all sorts of great collaboration that can go on. And then this is really the point where they take that information and they can apply it. And it's that application stage that I feel like students probably generate the most questions and need the most feedback from the teacher. And so in this case, now they're bringing this information. They can apply it in class where the teacher is readily available to answer any questions that they may have. Then they create a project. After applying, they create that project, and then they might publish the project. So they have some ownership. And anytime you bring in ownership, you have engagement. Anytime you can engage students, I don't think true learning happens without engagement. So that application creating and publishing piece is really key here. Anyways, that's just my short spill on the flipped classroom. If you want any extra information on it, like I said again, check out iTunes and check out the Friday Institute website. Really cool stuff. I'm going to try it fourth quarter. Take care. Enjoy.